Hey friends, as we continue to contemplate and grieve over the loss of our friend Eddie, I wanted just to share some thoughts with you while they were still fresh in my mind. And yes, you are looking at me with bedhead. It was so good, first of all, to be with you guys, even though it was very brief. And I'm so ever grateful that we had the opportunity to be an encouragement to one another. And it seems like we've been blessed with a particular gift of camaraderie. Seems like we easily pick up where we left off, even though this fairly significant amount of time has gone by. And I'm sure that if Eddie were with us, it would be no different. Eddie was that kind of individual that was pretty consistent in terms of who he was and what he stood for. And this morning, as I was reading in John chapter 4, I'm just going to share some words with you that Jesus spoke, and I pray that it'll be an encouragement to you as well, and maybe even a challenge, because certainly it challenged me this morning as I was contemplating and thinking about Eddie and of course you guys. So, and if you see movement in the background, that's my dog Wilson. He's right over there. There's his tail, and he sends his greetings as well. So here's what I'm going to read to you from John chapter 4, starting with verse 34. Before Jesus explained, "My nourishment comes from doing the will of God who sent me, and from finishing his work." The context of this is Jesus having a conversation with the Samaritan woman at the well. And continuing on verse 35, it says, "You know the saying, 4 months between planting and harvest. But I say, wake up and look around. The fields are already ripe for harvest. The harvesters are paid good wages, and the fruit they harvest is people brought to eternal life. What joy awaits both the planter and the harvester alike. You know the saying, one plants and another harvests. And it's true. I sent you to harvest where you didn't plant. Others had already done the work, and now you will get to gather the harvest." I think you know where I'm going with this. Eddie did a lot of planting, and it was very evident that as individual after individual and even groups of people got up at his memorial service, the impact that Eddie had. I want to encourage those of you who are local to Eddie's community to pick up where Eddie left off. Some of those individuals were significantly impacted by Eddie's work and their influence on him. So if God so moves you to pick up where Eddie left off, I want to encourage you to take advantage of the harvest. Now obviously, some of you may not even have relationships with some of the folks that got up to talk about Eddie, but if there's any even remote chance that there may be some follow-up that you guys can get involved in locally, that would be huge. And one takeaway for me, now obviously I'm not where you guys are in terms of community and church, where Eddie was heavily involved, but I too have my own work that I have to be about locally. Even here at the resort where I live, in this, as you can see behind me, fifth wheel environment, and maybe one day I could talk to you in depth about that whole experience. But truly, if we just take a look around us, there's so much opportunity. And once again, I'm so grateful that despite the unfortunate set of circumstances that brought us together, once again we were inspired to really focus on what's important and prioritizing our lives in such a way that they're in alignment with the eternal, which obviously Eddie was onto. And I know there's a lot that we can talk about regarding this, and I hope that we can be intentional and take the time to stay connected with one another. I think I mentioned to a couple of you when we were together the last day or two that we ought to at least look into Skyping one another and communicating and staying in touch that way. If that's something that you're inclined to doing, I certainly would love to, be a part of that. So with that, I just want to say I love you guys, and thanks for being such an integral part of my life over the years. And I know I don't say it enough and haven't had the opportunity to fellowship with you, but certainly once again I'm reminded that this is so important for us to continue to do. And you probably saw the cat walking around in the background. It's not my cat, it's my daughter's cat. That's another story. But anyway, hope to be in touch, and certainly message me or give me a response to this video message. Love you guys. Look forward to us getting together soon.